Hey, good morning, everyone. I've got Meleah Gretzmier here. She's running for Justice of the Peace, District 13 here in Benton County. And here, let me bring her up. Hey, good morning, Meleah. How are you
Hey,
today?
good morning. I'm good. How are you, Matt?
Not too bad. I guess tell us who you are. Tell us about yourself a little bit.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Meleah Gretzmier. A lot of people call me Mel. That's my handle on most things is Mel for Arkansas because my name's a little bit difficult to spell. But I'm the Democratic candidate for Benton County Justice of the Peace, District 13, which is for quorum court. And if you don't know what quorum court is, think city council, but on a county level, they pass ordinances, budgets, levy taxes, that sort of thing. Um, yeah, I decided to run right before filing deadline. I think it was like November the 6th. I reached out to our county chair and I was like, "Hey, I really want to do something. I'm tired of just sitting here being idle. What can I do? This is, my address, etc., the districts I live in." And I got plugged into, "Hey, nobody's run for JP 13 in a while." Um, Current JP is retiring. He's been there since 1997. I was born in 1998. I am very young, getting involved in politics
Mhm.
at a pretty young age. But I got involved because there's a lot of things that I've seen our JPs do, and I thought I could do better. What's that, Princess? I don't know. Why don't you go watch your show? I love you. As you
And
can see,
life
I'm
doesn't
a
stop.
life doesn't stop. I'm a mom. This is my 6-year-old over here. Um, but yeah, I got plugged in because I really care. We've seen a lot of things happen in the last couple of years with 287G or
Mm,
ICE. A lot of our JPs during public comment, they don't seem to be actively listening. They'll be on their phones. They'll sit there and just look at you like they've stepped
yeah,
on them and
I've noticed that too when I go up there, and I
yeah.
think that's kind of rude, where they don't pay attention to what's going on. It's like they allow you to speak for sure, but then they don't give you the courtesy of paying attention to whatever it is you're trying to say. And I don't like
Right. And, for a lot of people, it's like, one, it's really difficult to find
that.
information about county government. That's one thing that I'm trying to do now as a candidate running, and I'm not going to stop after the race is over, regardless of if I win or not, is educating the public because people say, "Hey, I have this concern. What do I do with it? How do I bring that
Right,
to the people that are in power in leadership here?" And I always encourage people like email, phone call, go to public comment. But if
right.
our elected officials aren't listening, it it makes people feel very powerless. And I was in a place of feeling powerless with all the things going on with our current administration,
Right.
presidency wise. And honestly, getting involved and, boots on the ground, so as cheesy as that sounds,
Mhm,
has helped my mental health a lot, just with the fact of feeling useful,
mhm.
feeling as though there's something that I can do to make a difference within the community that I've grown up in, that I'm raising my kids in, that me and
Right,
my wife own a home in. We have a family business. We are the epitome of community here in Northwest
mhm,
Arkansas.
right.
And I really care about that and want to see it be better, not just for myself, but for my neighbors, for our immigrant neighbors, for the guy down the street.
Mhm.
It's
And
yeah.
I've noticed too that you have been out there quite a bit. You've been canvassing and doing registration drives and all those kinds of things. But I like the fact that when you do the registration drive, it's to register the person regardless of whatever party they want to go for.
Oh yeah,
It's
no,
just because we need registered voters, and
for
I
sure.
think that's a really good thing.
And I mean, it is everyone's right to vote. I
Mhm.
want everybody to be able to participate actively in a direct democracy. I keep voters registrations in my car.
Mhm.
I drive a minivan. I've got English, I've got Spanish.
Mhm.
If anybody is like, "Hey, I've moved
Wow.
recently. Like, would you like a voter's registration form?" Use a black
Right.
ink pen.
Right. Because at the end of the day, when you become a JP, you're going to be responsible for everyone, regardless
Right.
of whatever party they're from.
Right.
Everyone's going to be treated the same, and that's how it should be.
It is. And honestly, that's a really, really good point, Matt. I feel as though our current elected officials don't consider that they represent everyone.
Mhm.
I feel like a lot of the time they are voting with their own opinion
Right.
in mind.
Hmm.
Even in these districts that are super close, Democrat, Republican, like you'll have like
Right.
44% Democrat. That's almost a 50-50 right there. Um, why are we not considering everyone's opinions? You rule for the people. Our state's motto is regnant populus, which means the people rule. If you
Right. Right.
are a person elected by voters, regardless of
And
who
it needs to be
elected
more than a
you,
slogan.
it needs
Hmm.
to be more than a slogan. It
Yep.
it should be how everyone
Mhm.
aims to run government,
Right. Right.
because that's your responsibility. That's your job.
And that's
Literally.
why I think progressives are finally getting uh, appreciated a little bit more. I'm noticing, like, when we do the roundabout in front of Cotton and Womack's office,
Yeah.
we're getting more and more positive responses than we are negative. Less and less fingers. You
Yeah.
know, we had people stop by just this last time around saying, "Hey, are you guys always here? Because I want to start coming." I'm
Yeah.
like, "Whoa! I thought this one dude, the way he got out of his van, I thought, all right, wait a minute, hang on a second." But no, no,
Right.
no. He
Right.
came. He was really cool and talked to us a little bit, whatever, and then went on his way, and we'll see him the next time. So that's good. But
Which is
that's how it
amazing.
starts. It starts with us. And that's why I think it's great that I've noticed you've paired up with a bunch of other candidates too. And I think that's really strong because we should be working together. It's not a spectator sport. It's not a single person. It's everybody involved, and that's really good that you guys are doing that. So that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. And if we can't work together on the campaign trail,
Mhm.
how are we all going to work together when elected? You know what I mean? Like that's kind of my one of my big thoughts behind that is collaboration is so important.
Mhm.
Not just, I mean, obviously I do a lot of work with other candidates that have the same values as I do,
Right.
but showing that I can work with another person
Mhm.
and organize, do things that are not necessarily fun shows voters that I'm going to be able to reach across the aisle and have those hard conversations. I mean, great
Mhm.
example out knocking doors. Me and some of my volunteers knocked a total of 217 doors this past weekend.
That's
We,
crazy.
it was hot. We had a great
Mhm.
time. We had a lot of really good conversations, a lot of things that don't necessarily like affect me in my neighborhood. I heard a lot about contaminants in water, which was right, exactly. Something
Mm.
that was really interesting to me personally because we've had our water tested before. We're avid gardeners. We have
Right.
tested our soil, we've tested
Mhm.
our water just when we've been struggling with something.
I'm afraid
That-
to.
I totally valid, but that's a concern that I wouldn't have thought
Mhm.
about immediately, and that's a great example as to why talking to people matters.
Right, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm noticing the time. I did wanted to make sure that we did talk a little bit about 287G,
Yes. Oh, yes.
because man, I'm pretty sure that's going to 100% go through. The funding is already gone through,
Mhm.
and if I'm not mistaken, if it's tonight that there's a read on that or something, or am I mistaken?
So at finance committee, which I believe was last
Yeah,
Tuesday,
I know. I
they
missed
in
that one.
yeah, I missed it too. I tuned in virtually, but I missed the actual meeting, had to catch up afterwards. But was the first reading for the 287G ICE fund in Benton County. And everything has to have a total of 3 readings. Um, so they won't actually be voting on that until September. It won't
Oh, okay.
be officially vote on. They can do what's called a straw poll, where they can get a general idea of how everyone is going to vote,
Mhm.
but it's not an official vote. So we will probably hear about that again tonight. Committee of the
Mhm.
whole for this month was canceled, so we don't know a rough idea of what's going to be on the agenda. They typically release that around 2 p.m. And
How
then, but
versed?
sometimes they squeak things in there. Like we
Mhm.
had the SCAP grant a while back, which again is in relation to 287G. It's a grant that would refund some of the things. It's very specific what those funds can be used for, but it is in relation to 287G or
So,
ICE.
so in a way, ICE is supplementing their funding by getting locals to do the work for them.
Right.
So
Uh,
they're kind of skirting that process as well. Oh, jeez.
and especially with Benton County, Town, and
So
Decatur
this is stop
recently,
and
they
frisk like they did
ah,
in New York. So
mhm.
now people are just going to be stopped and saying, "Where do you have the papers?" You know, I mean, isn't that so 1930s, man? You know, didn't we do this already?
It's
I don't
painful to
want to.
see.
I can't
It's,
imagine walking down the street and watching people getting harassed and being asked for their friggin' papers.
I mean, we're seeing it every
What?
day.
I
I
know, but
go
I mean,
to,
unfortunately, I haven't. Kind of unfortunately, because I would probably do something. At least I hope I would. You know, I how
yeah,
this is America, man. We don't do that here. You
no, and
know,
especially in Northwest
citizens don't get
Arkansas.
asked for their for. I don't need to carry my passport around. You know, really.
Yeah,
Anyway,
right.
go ahead.
But Northwest Arkansas, we've got such a wonderful melting pot of cultures
Mhm,
here. Really beautiful, really diverse community.
mhm.
And our neighbors, our minority neighbors, are being so heavily affected by this, especially with the recent escalation to the task force model, which is the highest tier of 287G, was previously deemed unconstitutional, but it was brought back during this administration.
Right.
That's what Benton County Sheriff's Office, Town, and Decatur PD are all participating at now. And essentially, that deputizes our local officers to perform the duties of DHS agents, ICE agents.
And don't get me wrong, if there are people in this country for a nefarious way or they're illegally or here or whatever,
Right,
you know,
right.
I get all that. There are avenues to do something about this problem, if you want to call it that, situation, whatever. But treating a misdemeanor like we treat hardened criminals, you know, these are just good people that overstayed a visa that may have didn't go to, you know, but they're not the criminals they're looking for. These are people picking our vegetables. They're people that are mowing our yards and painting and building our homes and other
Right.
things. You know, they're like our foundation, if you will, and they do it for pennies on the dollar, and they do a pretty good damn good job for what they are, you know, being paid for. And there's don't tell me that there's no one that's willing to do the work for that kind of money, because I've
Right.
seen the work
Yeah.
around here slow down quite a
Mhm.
bit, you know. And we can't be doing that to just regular hardworking people. It's not
Right.
it's not
And
right. People can't
it's
live like
not.
that.
And that's not to say that I don't want our communities to be safe.
Mhm.
One could argue that this is actually making our communities less safe because one,
Totally.
it's eroding trust in our police officers, our law enforcement in general.
Mhm,
If there's an emergency and somebody's neighbor has a heart attack, they are less likely to, call 911 to fix
mhm.
that problem if they're worried about someone in their household potentially being picked up and deported. What's up, baby? Okay, that's fine. Just hanging out. But just hang. She looks like she's sitting on my shoulder.
I know, she kinda does, doesn't she? It's funny.
She's so fun. I love her to death. But yeah, and these are people. They're contributors to our
Mhm,
communities. They're paying taxes when they go out and buy things. They're making wages. They are contributing members of society. And whenever these individuals are picked up, especially on like a misdemeanor charge or like a
mhm.
traffic issue, like taillight being out, speeding ticket, that takes that individual out. And if we want to make the argument of, oh, we have less tax revenue happening. Cool, great. We just took somebody else out of that, so we're going to have even less.
Right.
It's not going to heal.
And when what shade are we gonna stop at?
Yeah.
You know, when is the brown person gone and they need a new person to get rid of? You
Yeah.
know, when are you not white enough for them?
Where's the
And
line?
that's right. When is it? That's because that's all coming. Because
Yeah.
if they win, you know, your whiteness is not going to save you. Because if you're
Well,
not one of them and you're not a Christian and you're not a this or a that, you're gone too.
yeah.
So
And that's another thing. We
just
have
because you
since
you got this color that isn't going to save you for as
Yeah.
long as you think it might. So,
Exactly. And as, a Caucasian woman, I do what I can to use my privilege for good. You go to Quorum Court. We've got
Mhm.
so many members of the community that come and talk at public comment and raise these concerns to our JPs. And they just don't seem to care. They don't
Right.
seem to listen. They're
Mhm.
not doing anything to take action. And that's a
Right.
problem.
It is a total problem. All right. Well, I'm looking at the time. I guess with
Yeah.
that being said, I will hopefully catch you this evening at Quorum Court.
Yeah. I'll
I
be
hope to see you
there.
there.
I'll see you
And
there.
and thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to me. I know
Sure.
you have a
Yeah.
busy life, and you got your family you got to take care of too. So, so thank you for that time. I appreciate it, and I
Of
would love to
course.
do
Yeah.
this again. So we'll have to talk.
Happy to do it.
All
Thank you
right.
for having me. I
Have a
appreciate it.
great day. See you later, Mel.
See ya.